I'm an attorney and I currently represent Arlo Looking Cloud. I've represented Arlo for approximately 3.5 years, since February of 2008. Rather than me attempt to describe Arlo or talk to you about him and his personality, I'm going to at the end read some words from him that can best describe where he is at now. And I want to now go back in time and let you know how I came from at one point representing Leonard Peltier to where I am today representing Arlo Looking Cloud and seeking justice for Annie Mae Aquash. Back in about late 2001, early 2002, I became an attorney for Peltier, and primarily looking for the search for Freedom of Information documents. At that point in time, we had been given about 32,000 documents. There were many other documents out there, and I, along with a fellow named Mike Kuzma, searched through all the field offices to get more documents, and it turned out there were another 130,000 documents. But let's put that issue aside. The bottom line is, at that time in my life, I was a neophyte, a baby. I knew of Native struggles, but I didn't know much about Peltier's case. I didn't know much about the American Indian movement other than what I'd read on Wounded Knee and what I'd read in Matheson's book and in some other books. And so while I was worked with Leonard and the Defense Committee, I was involved with many people, and of course there was a lot of rhetoric that I didn't have the capability to filter at that point in time. Of course, if you didn't agree with someone, you were a Fed. If you did this, you were a Fed. And of course, this person's a Fed, that person's a Fed. There was a lot of paranoia and blame on the federal government. And that's sort of the mentality that pervaded working with the Defense Committee during that time period. Now, in about 2003 was when the indictments came down relative to Arlo Looking Cloud and John Graham. And from that point forward, the landscape for Leonard's release, in my opinion, changed significantly. At this point in time in 2003, I'm buying into the story that had been told that the FBI had her murdered. The FBI murdered her and covered it up. Putting aside the issue of whether or not there was any involvement by the FBI, leave that for another day. There are some issues, but at that point, the entire rhetoric and it was being spun as that don't pay attention to what is happening. These guys are innocent. We did nothing wrong. Look at what the FBI did. They cut off her hands. They covered it up. And so that became the rhetoric of 2003. Well, what I've learned in the 8 years of my reviewing hundreds of thousands of documents, speaking with numerous people, has left me saddened and changed my perspective on a lot of things.